Hi everyone. Remember during my Worlds commentary, I mentioned that I would get Zach online for an interview. Well, turns out that's true. I'm here to commentate on the same game, which is Zach versus Timmy in the top 16 cut. And with me is the man himself, the man behind the kit. It's Zach. Hi, Zach.
Hello. Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to do sort of run through from my point of view because I gather this match was somewhat confusing for those at home.
Yes,
I
indeed.
think
Yep.
so. I thought I'd provide some perspective on what I was thinking and the situation. So I'll just lead up to the situation briefly. So the day before, well, the whole week had been playing tons of Netrunner, obviously. 2 days before, I'd done the team tournament and played all day. The day before, at lunchtime, I was 5-3, which wasn't going to see me through, and I had to just massively put on my uh, go goggles.
And
And
you just,
yeah, I went 7-1 in the afternoon, and I made it through in 15th. So
yep, squeaking by.
enormously I was enormously stressed because I had a timed win and I didn't know if I was going to make the cut. So I made the cut. I went home, I slept, and the first round of the day I played Min, who elected to corp. I was down 6-2 with about 5 minutes remaining. Had to win a side game, had to win the rest and win just before time because he goes through with 6-6. Uh, so then I very quickly was ushered to sit down against Timmy, who I knew plays weird decks. I know he's a good player, but I had no idea who he was playing. So that's the mindset that I was in.
Yeah, and not actually knowing what he was packing actually caused a lot of problems for you. But overall, it was still a fun experience, wasn't it? The entire Worlds.
Yeah, Worlds was really, really great. I don't know how I'll feel watching this match again, but
Well, no worries. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll still be the king of servers. No one can take that away from you,
that's
ever.
true.
All right, so let's get into the match. I'll be doing still screen captures because I want to not show Timmy's hand so we can get a bit more accurate view of what Zach was thinking at each moment. So the start is three remotes by Timmy. At this, okay, before that, I'm looking at opening hand. It is sure gamble, two prepaids, and a
Yeah,
couple of not so good cards in clone chip and same old thing. Why
yeah,
do you choose to keep this hand? I
yeah.
assume you
That's
keep.
a valid question. So I think what swayed me to keep this was basically I just saw the money and I thought at least I can get started. I don't think it's a very good starting hand against any H in general.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good starting hand against like food courts because you do need the money.
Yeah,
But against any H you need to go fast. You really want an Astrolabe or an SMC for Claude, etc. That
yeah, I agree. I think I was just a bit paranoid about what I was going to draw as a mulligan.
yeah, fair enough if you get Lady Sai
Yeah,
two
but
same
that's
old
not a
things.
very good reason to keep.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
Timmy takes his turn one, installs three naked remotes. So at this point, I'm thinking because I have no idea what the deck is. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking my immediate thought is it's some sort of turtle back stack because
Mhm.
it's going wide. And so at this point in the game, uh, yeah, my thought is to pressure to check some of the remotes. I can't check them all because I'll just lose tempo.
Definitely.
And otherwise, draw through my deck and try and find Astrolabe and otherwise get money and pressure HQ especially because it's often quite a while before they score with the turtleback stack.
Yep, that's true. But with R&D and HQ wide open, I wonder if it's just better to run those, especially because you don't know Timmy's deck. Isn't it nice to find out like if he's running Baltics or Scorched Earth? That would be something good to identify early on.
So I can't remember if he kept. I think he did keep.
Yeah, I don't really remember either.
I
That's
think
my
he
bad.
did keep. So you're right. I could probably just run HQ here, but what I want to do is, I think partly I want to set the tone that I'm going to be willing to run these remotes because oftentimes tailbacks are trying to sneak out agendas.
Yep.
Uh, so I decided to see what one of them is, especially because in my hand, I'm probably just going to install Show Gamble and draw.
Yep, you did draw into a lucky find and you decided to prepaid gamble, which is a solid opening. And I
Yeah.
like your point about checking. I mean, you didn't check all the remotes, but that's fine. You just need to keep the corp,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, keep him on his toes, deter him from sneaking stuff out,
Yeah.
which is good. So after that, he reses two pack campaigns, and
Yeah, so at this point, I'm thinking, oh wow, it's definitely some type of horizontal deck
yep,
because
because on
it's
his
got
next turn he spams with three more remotes.
yeah, and I think the obviously I've played the match, I know what happens, but what I would do now at this point is probably just if I was playing this again, I would probably just install the pad, lucky,
Lucky find?
yeah, install the pad, lucky find, kill one of the pads,
Yes, that would have been great.
and then next turn go back for the other pad because so one of the reasons I don't trash the pads is that against turtlebacks, because I've played a lot of turtlebacks, and I find that so often they'll get their turtlebacks down, and then all the work you've done in trashing stuff before just goes out the window.
Definitely, you can't
So
keep up with that. I mean, if especially if they start bringing those pets back by team
yeah.
sponsorship, you're absolutely right. You can't keep up with that.
So my tactic has just shifted without seeing much evidence for this
Yeah,
to money up, make accesses that count, and stop him scoring off the table.
which is fair because, yeah, there's not much in a way he can leverage that extra money yet.
Yeah. So here something happens, and I run this new one, which is a
Yep, the product placement, which you take the
product.
time to read.
Yeah, which I take the time to read, and
You
I'm
decided
starting to
not to
get.
trash it.
Yeah, I don't think I know what's going on here.
Yeah, I think at this point you basically conceded the economic battle. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I don't know whether you put him on mid seasons or seesaws or not, but yeah, at that point you're just saying, okay, you can have all the money in the world, which is
yeah, which is a really bad thing to
iffy.
do.
Yeah, but in any case, you just continue on and you play. No, you draw into a same old thing and you play your sucker, which is fine because you're going to assault his central soon, and he has no ice.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think my plan. Yeah. So obviously, I think from the perspective of his hand, I don't think he may have drawn one agenda so far.
Or he might have one that he might have them just lying on the table. It might be a bill or a
Yeah.
one
So from
pointer.
my point of view, I actually think. I mean, it's a standard NEH play to have an NAPD on the table
Yep.
to score later. And I'm not going to have the clicks to do all this because I don't have Astrolabe, which is
Yeah, which is quite
said at
sad.
the beginning. It's an amazing card against NEH, and
Yeah.
especially against someone who's going wide.
Yep, definitely. On the same token, you really want to take advantage of these opening turns where he still has no ice.
Yes, which I'm not doing.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, honestly, there's not much you can do with the opening hand. If you had Maker's Eye or Legwork,
Yeah,
things might be different. But,
yeah,
well, the game goes on now, and there's not much that happens until the mid game. So basically, because you didn't trash the product placement, he's able to
yeah,
sneak an Astro behind the Raven. And,
yes. One of the things I'm thinking here is,
yep,
yeah. If we just go back a second,
yep,
one of the
this one.
things I'm thinking here is, I've got it in my head that there's a sand somewhere.
Yep,
Um, and yeah, I've just got it in my head that there's a sand somewhere, which will come into play later. So yeah, he scores the Astro, and now I'm super worried because I know that if he puts a breaking news on the Sansan, I have no window to get clot, and he can immediately use the token and do whatever
yep,
he wants. And there was a talking point about, yeah, here's where I see closed accounts in his hand.
yep,
So that tells me that he's trying to tag me, which I actually didn't know before.
yep.
Anything that tells me that. So I'm really thinking, because he's got the Astro scored, I'm really thinking one of the principal ways he's going to tag me is just using breaking news.
Which is a reasonable call, especially with him going so horizontal.
Yeah, so I think maybe it's a part of the deck that doesn't, is just maybe it's not dedicated tagging deck. Maybe he just has these to do off breaking news. That doesn't seem so likely.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it's a reasonable assumption. There are lots of decks in the past, like a year ago, where NBN decks would just slot one close accounts for fun. Yeah, it's reasonable.
So also, I don't. I think there could be other ways to tag me. Like for some, I think probably having been next to Chris Hinkey's playing Alex
Uh,
at the King of Servers, where he's playing this Spark deck that uses that. What is it? The surveillance grid.
oh yes, that one. Yeah,
So I'm also thinking one of the possible plays he's doing is to get the
breaking
closed
news
accounts to
and
fire
close
and then
accounts.
res one of those grids.
Yeah,
That's another way I think he can tag me. So anyway, yeah.
yeah, that's a reasonable assumption as well. But it's still interesting that you decided not to even attempt to contest that remote. You were thinking it was a Sansan?
So how much money do I have?
So
I have
at, at
nine.
the start of the turn you had 9 credits, and you chose to draw, run HQ to see the closed accounts, and then you ran R&D instead.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, because
feel like it's more important to. I think I'm caught in two minds here. Like, I think I should have just made my mind up. And I definitely think I should have just ran it because, like, what's
yeah,
the
there
ice?
was nothing. Yeah, there wasn't much that could hurt you honestly.
Yeah.
And I think you were just tunneled a little into your data sucker, getting sucker tokens, which is pretty good. It means you can instantly parasite down data ravens and the like.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. Although that means that he does get the first astro off, and that's
Yeah, I
okay
think I
then.
should definitely notice that from his point of view. I've got the sucker on the table, which I didn't really want to do. I think if you see the video, I'm like hesitating. I don't really want to install the data sucker, which tells him to do that.
That's true.
But, and then he makes that play. So actually, what you're saying is interesting because maybe it's an interesting play to install the data sucker with an SMC in hand if you have one and leave
Yeah.
it there because then they'll probably try and get rid of it. Anyway, so yeah, we go on.
Yep. He scores the astro, and you basically set up. You draw into a maker's eye, and you maker's eye him, which is reasonable.
Yeah, I
So
get lucky there. I
not really. You do find one astro, but you also found a new team, which you were forced to take.
yeah, okay, not that great, but terrible.
And with your last draw, you found your all important plus creed, so that was pretty
Yeah,
good. In the
yeah,
meantime, yeah, he installed more stuff, including a new asset in the remote, the product placement remote.
yeah. So uh, I have a list of things this could be. It could be. I think top of my list is Sansan.
Fair enough.
That's the number one thing I think it is.
Yep,
But I also uh, obviously think it could be slow rolling an agenda. I think it, you know,
yep, that's fair enough. I mean, the biggest problem at this point is that you don't have an SMC in hand, which is probably another deterrent to running his remote. That's
yeah.
just a waste of a click.
Well, I'm still worried about Architect at this point because I really haven't seen what the deck has for influence.
Yes, that's true. You haven't seen a single influence yet. So yeah.
Yeah,
So instead, you just draw and you basically you set up your board state here with the
I
same
think
old
I
thing.
probably have seen Scorched at this point.
Have you?
I'm not. I'm not sure.
Oh, you might have seen it off R&D. Yeah, I can't tell that because yeah, the maker's eye was facing the other way. The
I
camera
think
was
that's
facing.
why I'm installing the Plascrete. So
I
yeah,
see. All right. So assuming you've seen the Scotch stuff at this point, you know what he's up to. I think
I
this
have to
gives you.
say it's very painful to see how low his credit token is because his credit count is because his econ is actually, as far as I can tell, super weak. I still hadn't figured it out.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah. In retrospect, it's easy to say, but
yeah,
it,
and as well, like I don't want to take every player who's gone out at Worlds or loses any match can point to things they did wrong, but so can the opponent. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
so yeah. But anyway, we're still playing this very mentally taxing game. I always think as well that the more sort of remotes you have, the it just builds the mental strain on the runner by a lot because it's not like ice where I always think with ice you probably are going to get through it at some point, find out what it is. But with all these horizontal things, there's so many things playing through my mind about what the combination of things is.
Yeah, because
Uh,
more like there's so many possible things he can do with all those unrest assets
yeah, and
as
I'm
compared
very
to
aware
ice.
that I probably don't know every card in the D&D.
Yeah, D&D that doesn't help either. Definitely, that is still an awful thing that you only got the physical cards. What 9 days before
Yeah,
World itself? That was horrible. And
yeah. So we keep playing.
yeah, and yeah, you do decide to keep the remote pressure up, and you find a TGTBT, which
Yep,
is good and bad. So you get money, you clear the tag. Everything's pretty normal here. He uses Jackson a lot, gets more remotes,
yep.
and now you start drawing to your breakers. Still no SMC for the clock. Still no SMC for wraparound. I mean, Lady, but you're getting your breakers and money. You
Yeah,
actually,
so I guess he's. I mean, I stole an Astro, which is really good because otherwise he'd be
yep, you broke the Astro train.
in position. Um, yeah. So what's happening here? He has loads of money. I have loads of money, and I think I'm about to run the final remote.
Yes, I think. Oh, nope. So basically, you both of you equalize in credits because he found a sweeps week and he has the
Yeah,
pets going. You
yeah.
draw the SMC, you draw a quality time, and on your third click, you decide to play the quality time, bringing you up to 11 cards in hand.
Uh,
I
wow, that's a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was wondering what exactly were you digging for at this point, because you found your SMC already.
All right. So there's a couple of things to say about this.
Sure.
I don't know why I've SMC quality timed when I've got Diesel in hand.
hmm
I just must be really tired.
Probably because you have unused prepaid. Yeah, unused
Yeah,
prepaid credits.
so I suppose one of the things I've really trained myself to do as a Kate player is to draw like crazy, and I think that like if you watch Noah play, he draws he overdraws all the time, and I just think in general like people overrate people don't draw enough.
Yeah,
So
they
I sort
overrate
of trained
clicking
myself.
for credits to drawing. That's true.
Yeah, I've trained myself to draw really aggressively, and here that training I'm just sort of autopiloting
I
that
see.
decision. But the card I'm really looking for is legwork, and that's the
Ah,
card I'm always looking for because he has so many cards.
yes.
There's 12 cards installed in servers.
And he
He's
has
seen so
four
many
in hand,
cards, and yeah,
roughly.
he has a Jax now, but
No, he
like,
hasn't been pitching anything. He's just been crazy drawing. And with near Hub's ability.
yeah,
That's a pretty good point. I didn't actually consider that. But yeah, back to your point on playing reflexively. I think a lot of good players do this. And it's good because when tournament stress hits, you need to do the right thing even though you're tired. And drawing is usually a good thing.
yeah.
Although
So
it
I,
leaves
I draw, and then I see a load of cards, and I see a film critic. Right, this is the bit where
yeah, this is the most questionable bit. You decide to install the lady, which is fine because you take advantage of Kate's credit and you have to
I
chuck five
say I
cards.
install the lady because I know it's a wraparound on R&D.
Ah, that too. Yep.
Uh, what am I thinking with this? So I
Yes.
keep Zool. All right. I think I probably should have installed Zool over the dog because I'm just telling him I can get into R&D, and he has enough money to put something in front of it.
That's true.
So I don't think I should tell him. This is the second time I've done this. Like with the data sucker, I installed it late, and with this, I'm installing it late, and I don't like that.
But you're
Uh,
kind of caught in a rock and a hard place because there's very
yeah.
little that you want to throw away. You have Zoo, you have Diesel. You don't want to throw away Diesel or the money
But
in
why
general.
do I keep SMC here? That just, I mean,
That's true. Yeah, you can chuck SMC.
I can chuck SMC. It's fine. I think everything else I chuck. I should have kept the film critic because I should be aware he's on mid
Definitely.
seasons. But even if I don't, I think that I definitely should chuck the SMC because I've got a clone chip. Although I'm kind of worried about clot recursion, so that's
Yeah,
this
I think
section.
that's the main. But anyway, your mimics in the heap. Yeah, you do chuck the mimic. You do chuck the sai. So yeah, your clock is already taken
Oh,
up.
my clot's already in my hand. So
Oh, sorry, not. Yeah, you decided to chuck the clock as well. You had to chuck all your programs in the end,
right.
except for the SMC.
So I definitely should have chucked SMC because there's nothing else.
Yeah, except for Atman, I think. Yeah, there was nothing you could take.
So that's just a mistake. I'm hemming and hawing over this decision at the time,
Yes, it took quite a
and
while.
it's just because I have so many cards. I don't
Yeah, that is really the root of the problem. I don't think you can easily choose the 5 correct cards to keep here. It's just too many cards that you drew.
So yeah, I think if you're watching this at home, it's very obvious that if my line of players install Film Critic, run every single new remote, then nothing can happen to me.
Yeah, but
But for my line,
yep,
there
it's
could
very
still be
hard to see.
breaking news in that server, for instance. Any of these cards could be breaking news. Uh, yeah, even though I've got the Plascrete out.
I think it's reasonable to not play the film critic, but at least keep it in your hand.
Yeah, agreed.
Same with the Plascrete, like you don't want to run into a Shattered Remains and have him advance it with the Astro. Then you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, what what's done can't be undone, and we move on with what you kept, which was Gamble, Zoo, Diesel, Stimhack, and SMC.
So the stim hack is also insurance against the because I think I have an R&DI out. Do I? No,
Nope, but
I don't
you
have that
will
yet.
get it soon. Yeah.
But
So yeah, he gets more money. So at this point, he's actually outmoneying you.
yeah, so I think the stim hack's partly an insurance against that close accounts I've seen, and
Ah,
still
yes, that will help.
good anyway.
Yep. So,
But yeah,
yep. And on your turn, you basically use the diesel that you had, that you kept from last turn, which is fine. And you found Parasite, Lady, Dirty Laundry. Still no
yes.
legwork.
Well, Parasite is making me cry because Parasite was actually a terrible card throughout the whole day at the main event, and Parasite should really have been legwork number two.
Oh dear, that's awful. You didn't
But
find it useful against food courts either?
no, not at all.
Oh.
Because no one I played was running next dice. So
Yeah, the only reason to play Parasite. Fair enough.
anyway, so yeah, I this is actually a good talking point I think because I take the breaking news.
Yep.
Obviously, everyone knows I'm going to get mid-season now.
Yep.
Then I guess I don't do much. He plays the mid-season, right?
He does, and he performs a trace 25 on you when you had 21 credits.
Right. So I know the commentator is screaming
Close accounts.
about closed accounts.
Yep.
I completely wrong in not spending any money, but the amount of money I spent should not have been all of it. And the reason for that is I've got the same old thing on the table. I've got 2 credits on prepaid. So if he can't trash that same old thing, then I'm going to be able to dirty laundry clicks 1 and 2
Yep.
with the same old thing.
Yep.
So I don't want to give him. I don't want to spend all my own money because then he'll just trash this, and yeah, I'll be on 3 tags.
Yeah, you take 3 tags maximum. I mean
But
minimum.
I'm presuming the reason he's doing this, from my point of view, is that he has the kill in hand, is that he has triple scorch, because he's been drawing enough.
That's still a risky assumption considering that he's only halfway through his deck. It's
But
not necessarily the case.
so I've already seen at least one.
Yes, but the chance of drawing 3 is pretty low, especially if you don't have an Atlas counter.
You're right. So have I seen Lily Lockwell by this time, or is that later?
Nope, the deal is later.
Right. So
I think it's reasonable to say that you're on a timer, you're on a ticking bomb, but you weren't going to die next turn or anything, especially because he just dumped all his money into the trace.
yeah, not all of it though, right? He's
Uh,
still got.
yeah, he left 2 credits left over to trash your same old thing.
Yeah. So I think how much I spend. I
You
think
spent nothing,
spent-
I think.
Yeah, I spent nothing.
Yeah,
But
you
I
took
think
all
I
the
did
tax.
spend
No,
all but
it was all gone with the close accounts.
maybe all but 2.
All but 2?
Yeah, because if I spend.
No, I saw a 2 and a 5 die on your tags.
Oh no, I'm saying how much should I have spent?
Oh, sorry. How much should you have spent?
I think I spent all but 2 because he does trace 25. I boost by 19, so I take
uh,
5
5
tags.
tags. Yep.
But then he still has to close the counts though.
Yes, he. I'm
Or
not sure if he would
or
actually.
he kills the same old thing, but then I still have credits. So
Yeah.
even though, uh, Yeah, I should spend some money. I don't think I should spend all my money because I think I want to make him close my accounts rather
Yeah,
than stay.
put him in a tough place. Yeah, that's true. Yep, that's
Okay.
actually a pretty good call.
Anyway, somehow the game still isn't over, and I realize that I'm
Yep.
about to die and I have very few points.
Yeah.
So
Your next turn was quite iffy on from my perspective. What you did was you drew quality time and you click for 3 credits. Why were you clicking for credits? Because you have a same old thing on the board that he could blow up
so
next turn.
I think I just the only reason I can think of is that I really want to use that same old thing for multi-access, but that's really bad because he's just going to trash it next turn.
Which you should have right after the mid seasons. I was thinking the best line of play here was to just straight away Maker's Eye. He wouldn't be able to rest anything on R&D.
You're right. He would have just had to res. He could have res the wraparound.
Yeah, he only had 1 credit.
Yeah, that's a
So
much better play.
yeah, because of that, the same old thing got
Or even Dirty Laundry Archives is fine.
yeah.
I'm not worried about because I'm not worried about news team anymore.
Yep, and yeah, dirty and use your same old thing for credits instead of clicking for
Yeah,
credits.
both of those are better.
Yep. So that was an unfortunate line of play there. He burned your same old thing, and at this point, it's just not that easy anymore. What were you thinking of doing right here, or were you waving the white flag already?
Uh, I'm just thinking that I need to get multi-access before I die.
Fair enough.
Legwork or Magpie,
Yep.
whatever.
So the legwork didn't turn up, but your quality time drew into R&DI and a
Yep.
Maker's Eye, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this.
So
So I've seen. So Dirty Laundry on Lily Larkwell is because now I'm not worried about news team anymore. So I
yep,
should have just gone archives, and there was only one face down card, but it would have got me a sucker token, which could still be relevant,
yep.
and it's just better than this. But I see Lily Larkwell, which I don't know what it does, and anyway. So
It
yeah,
doesn't
in my
matter.
quality time, I draw into this, and I think I'm just aiming to get off the R&DI and the
Yep.
Magpie.
And you're getting close with 9 credits. So yeah, that's fair. And he's clicking for credits at this point, which should kind of clue you into what he's trying to do. I mean, you probably knew it already.
Oh, he's going for triple scorch, right?
Yep. So your final turn, because you assume it was your final turn.
So
You
this is actually, although my other mistakes have been definite mistakes, I think my final turn is is the only one in class is completely not understandable. So in my head, I've just got it in mind that if I go for this huge multi-access, because I think I must be dead, that if I go for this huge multi-access and then hit that remote, I just think that's the most likely place where there's going to be an agenda.
hmm.
Because you don't have to score them. So I play Gamble, good. I install RDI, good.
Yep.
I do the Maker's Eye. This is actually great because if I diesel next click, then
Alright, you could
then
diesel
I'll be
next click.
back to 4 cards, and at least
Yeah.
I can't double scorch me for the win. But I
Yeah.
got such tunnel vision that I think this is the very worst play because it's even worse than you think because I see one agenda,
Yeah, you only see one agenda.
but I see a scorched earth.
Oh, you saw a Scotch stuff in it as well.
So Chris
Ah.
Hickey's actually asked me after. He's like, "You saw that scorch? You knew you weren't dead." And I was like, "Oh wow, I saw the scorch, but I did not know I was not dead." Because I also, so obviously everyone's tired. I think that I thought that I'd seen traffic accident, but I haven't, and that's just completely wrong. So I think a much better turn would have been a really good turn. In fact, would have been Gamble, RDI, the Maker's Eye, and then Diesel. I have 4 cards in hand.
Yep.
He's going to have to use Lily Lockwell to look for a card.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I end the game on 4 points,
Yep.
but then I can. Uh, what my next turn would have been, because he's still got the Jackson out, I probably would have run R&D. I think he would have rezzed. So he would have been on 10, maybe 11 credits. Yeah, so he
Yeah.
would have rezzed
Yeah.
Archangel, which is what's sitting there.
Yep.
I would have used the parasite on
You had a
the
clone chip,
background
yes.
behind it,
Yep.
and then he would have been able to pick up RNDI, but I still would have got at least another access. Then I would have gone for HQ. But
Yep.
so this is the mistake that I think is the worst in terms of competitive mindset because the other ones are just getting things wrong, but this one is choosing between life and death and just going for the
And choosing
magnetic
death.
impact because I just really wanted to know what's in the server.
I
So
mean,
yeah, we shake,
yeah, that's unfortunate.
but I think yeah, it's just you can see from that picture. Every one of those cards is a piece in my brain I'm trying to make into a coherent picture, and I just can't get it right. Like,
Yeah,
even
it is overwhelming, and it is a very large table.
if I had just early game played that lucky find and trashed the pads, and then just waited and let him try and set up a remote, which I don't think his deck can really do. So I could have just accessed cards and R&D. But part of the reason he's brought this deck is it's weird, right?
The
Like,
surprise factor. Yep.
so I don't know. It was a good match. Timmy's a good opponent. He did exceptionally well as
Yeah,
again this year.
he played very, very well. I mean, it was really a blast watching all his games.
Yeah. No, so congratulations.
Yeah, and
Uh,
congratulations to you too. Still a very decent showing.
yeah, thanks.
Although,
I had a great time.
yeah, and hopefully everyone got greater insight as to some of the plays that Zach made. I think most of them were, I mean, there were mistakes, no doubt, but I think a lot of them had their reasons behind it, and hopefully you got to see some of that. And hopefully that cleared up any confusion about the game. I think it was a very interesting game. It just, it was just a pity because we were watching it live and we were like, no, Zach, why are you doing this? But when you're behind that table, when you're overwhelmed by all those servers,
Oh, also, I would say the only other point is that I don't know how long this game took because I couldn't see a clock because the clock isn't visible because there's a huge crowd of people around. So I had no idea how long we had. Uh,
did Lucas call time at any point?
no, he didn't mention it, but I think at the end, how long was there left?
It shouldn't have been more than 5 minutes if I'm not wrong because there were two turns where you all took a hell of a lot of time. You took a long time discarding the quality time, and he took about 5 minutes to decide whether he wanted to mid-seasons you or not.
Yeah, I
That was
think the fact that these are timed isn't that great, but I really think that if I'd been able to see the clock, there could have been another more unethical line of play, which is just to wait and do nothing.
well, that's not good.
No,
Yeah,
sorry,
let's not
I don't mean slow play. I just mean
calling
if I
him
know
out.
that he has to score 5 more points in five
Ah,
minutes, that's not going to happen, right?
yeah, that's true. Although, yeah, that's true because you did have the clock threat. He couldn't fast advance anything. Actually, he could. I think there was a Cyberdex among one of those remotes, so he could
Oh,
attempt to score out. Yeah,
fair enough. Maybe he would have, but I think I couldn't see the time either, which sort of stressed me out because I didn't want to ask, and I didn't want to ask because I don't want to be accused of slow play, and I'm not going to slow play.
yeah, I think
I just
that's
don't know what's going on.
yeah, it, yeah, that's a pretty interesting point. Well,
Anyway,
yep, that's the game. So thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Zach for having you here.
yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, happy night running, everyone. Goodbye.